And welcome to the latest edition of Field Hockey with Hatfield as we speak to you from the Plex. Get ready for some big action, in fact, on this Tuesday, the 17th day of October, 2 weeks away from Halloween. Will I be doing this with a costume on in 2 weeks? Some people think I'm wearing a costume half the time anyways. Well, we've got some exciting action coming for you at the Plex. In fact, today we'll have for you coming up at 4 o'clock a matchup between the Cox Falcons, who are certainly one of the top teams in the area. Despite a setback last week, they lost in triple overtime in what was a barn burner to First Colonial. They're taking on the Kellam Knights, who are surging under Coach Nicole Morgan, 8-6 on the year. Had a 2-1 win over Great Bridge. Melina Magnano, who we had on the show earlier this year, has been stepping up and looking like a team that will be making some noise in Region 5A. We've got the latest top 10 rankings for you at the end of the show. The Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week, as we'll highlight someone from the Beach District getting that honor after a couple of Norfolk Academy winners in each of the last 2 weeks. Plus, we got some scores to go over, and we're 8 days away from the playoffs. Playoffs will be starting for field hockey literally in 8 days, and I'm sure we'll have some exciting action coming your way from the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach as we get you set for the playoffs, as you saw on our cover intro. And a big shout out all year long. I want to thank Carter Davis for his tremendous work with the graphics, for making this possible for us, and also Chuck and Nick and the whole hardworking team behind the scenes, Garrett and company, for their filming of games and allowing us to bring you the action from the training center each and every week. But I want to thank them for that, and you'll see some of the neat things we got coming up. We've got 2 interviews coming your way in just a little bit. Norfolk Academy's dynamic duo of Lizzie Adams and Joji Purdy, who got the latest Il Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week honors. And also Amber Jones, the head coach at Kempsville, whose team is at 8-4, looking like a team that will be right there in the mix of things in Region 5A. A couple of interesting results that took place on Monday. Grafton got a shutout, as you see there, over Smithfield. We mentioned the win for Kellam here as they're starting to make some noise. But I think that the big developments this past week was First Colonial in triple overtime had to go to a shootout to get it done. After it was scoreless following regulation play of 60 minutes and 2 OT sessions. Claire Hitchings, as well as Riley Brooks Booth, the name we've been calling out throughout the year, they stepped up in a big way in what was a classic. Those two teams could certainly run into each other again in the Region 5A playoffs coming up, and also potentially in the state tournament. It is possible they could see each other in the states. We'll have to see how the pairings go to see what round. If they were to advance out of Region 5A, they take 2 teams from each region on to the state tournament, from Class 6 down to Class 3, where they kind of condense the Class 3, Class 2, Class 1 into all one grouping there of A and B for the regions. We'll have a graphic probably next week for you with some of the pairings and how things will shake out for the playoffs if you're unfamiliar with all that. But as always, we are streaming on our Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber to that, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you get notifications when we go live for any event, whether it be Field Hockey with Hatfield, the On the Hash with Hatfield football podcast that comes your way on Thursdays, or even 757 Saturday Sports Talk with yours truly and the coach, Ed Young, which has started off early the last couple of weeks and might begin this coming Saturday. Generally, we run around 10 to about 11:30, 12 noon, but we might start a little bit early around 9 o'clock this coming week if possible. So with a couple of football games that are starting at earlier times that will impact my commute, if you will. But as always, you get notifications when we go live for high school football action like Atlantic Shores games, lacrosse, soccer, those happenings in the fall into the spring, and obviously with field hockey too. Some interesting matchups. Regional Training Center is the site of some of those games today. As you see on the ticker here, we've got the lineup for you coming up for Wednesday and Thursday in just a bit. But this will be a little bit of a condensed show today because I have some duties today to fulfill before calling the Kellam and Cox game. I've got to go pick up my niece at the bus stop. So I'll have to make this a little bit of a quicker edition than usual. We won't probably get our usual 40-plus minutes. It might be around 30 today for the podcast, but we always want to get feedback from you. We thank one of the viewers of the podcast for sending in their submission for Player of the Week. We'll see if that was our choice coming up in just a little bit. But the big developments obviously were certainly the win for FC over Cox. We didn't jinx Megan Smart or Gray Sticks. And like I say on our football podcast, that's Ed Young on Saturdays. You come on with me opposite him, you're a winner. Brian Neese won in football for Kellam. If you do it with Ed, I can't promise you're going to get a victory. As Lamort Smith, the FC football coach, and once upon a time, the field hockey coach in between Megan Smart, the current coach, and the past coach who won some championships, and Beanie Schleicher, who was on our preview show with Scotty Tyson back in, that was late August, early September. I know it's just been flying by. We're here in the middle of October. It'll be November before you blink, and then it's Thanksgiving and Christmas time. We'll go breezing right by Halloween with trick or treat and candy and all that good stuff, and go right into the teeth of the holiday season and having to get presents for everybody and celebrate with the eggnog as well as the turkey on Thanksgiving with all the football and the trimmings that come with that. But the other big win was Norfolk Academy, not Norfolk Collegiate, Norfolk Academy, beating a team that defeated them in last year's VISAA Championship game, and that's Collegiate of Richmond, which came into that matchup ranked in the top 15 in the country, and Norfolk Academy just cruised right by them. An awesome job by Mary Werkheiser and her team, just thoroughly impressed with the work that they did. And even when Collegiate got on the board, they quickly responded within even a minute. It was like 30 seconds that they found the back of the net, and that just showed me a lot about that team's character and their poise to get it done in that 7-1 win. So you'll see in just a little bit our conversation with Lizzie Adams, who's headed to Columbia, and Joji Purdy, who is a Penn State-bound player and a junior, as that is a dynamic duo for Coach Mary Werkheiser and her group. But we're going to be starting off with, as far as the interviews go, the coach at Kempsville, longtime coach. She was a Division I standout at VCU and has been coaching the Chiefs for a good long while now, and that's Amber Jones. Despite losing to Cox, she gave us a few minutes to talk about her team and how things are going this season. And we now check that out here in this latest edition of Field Hockey with Hatfield. I'm here with Kempsville field hockey coach Amber Jones. Her Chiefs at 8-4 overall in the season. And coach, despite the tough loss here against the Cox Falcons, the reigning 5-time state champs, it's been a pretty busy week. You beat Grassfield on Monday, which is an exciting win. You played in the Ring of Honor tournament. Tell me about how this group is growing in a very, very competitive beach district in Region 5A where you have so many good teams.
This team has fared well this year. We lost 14 seniors in the last 2 years, so we have a very dense freshman squad. But we have 4 solid seniors that have led the way. We have a great keeper, Olivia Wintrode, as well. But they're doing fantastic with what has been given to them this year.
You mentioned a really good keeper there in Olivia. And another player that stood out to me in watching some of your games this year is Cameron Butler. She scored a couple times against Grassfield. Tell us what she brings your team.
Leadership and composure. She has grown so much she's one of our captains this year, along with, Erin Sutton. But she is just leads the team. She can take the ball all the way up the field by herself without any trouble. But leadership she does bring to us. So,
what year is this for you at the helm of Kempsville?
This is 10 years for me this year. Yeah.
10 years. So you certainly had to build this thing up. What's been, when you got there to now, the biggest, I guess you could say, bullet points that you try to emphasize to the girls as you try to continue to get them to grow and get better and better? And many of them have a chance to play at the next level.
Yeah. Well, number one, we base everything off of character. I don't care how good you are at field hockey. Character is number one. And then just their effort, care about character and effort, and then everything else falls into place after that. So that's kind of how we build our program.
Every program wants to win, district, region, state championships. What are you most proud of at the end of the day? Is it the ones that go on to the next level and you see them helping out, doing things in the community and getting a chance to fulfill their dreams in college?
Yeah. They just grow into amazing women who are there to help anyone around them. Just literally great humans of the society that they turn into. Sure. Outside of just hockey. So.
Oh, yeah, it goes beyond that for sure, even beyond the sport. And a couple of the coaches I've spoken to from Kellum, First Colonial, and other schools around the area, even Don Warner at PA, we talked about just sort of that year where you had the COVID year, the abbreviated year, and this is kind of the last year of the cycle of that. Have you seen just kind of the, when you get those players coming into the program now, they're starting to get more acclimated to the system and the principles you all try to establish from day one?
Right, yeah. So finally there's middle school hockey, so it creates that builder as well. We do have a good bridge there, so they're doing well in transition from middle school to high school as we get in more freshmen. As
you get ready for the playoffs here, which is coming up fast and furious, it'll be here before you know it. I mean, you just have to deal with the likes of Cox, who's won 5 consecutive state titles. First Colonial, who just knocked them off in triple overtime the other day. Right. Kellum, great bridges now in your region. It's a gauntlet, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. We do play tough teams, but with the squad that we have, they have grit, so it kind of subsides the quality of teams that we play as well.
I mean, maybe a couple of underclassmen besides those seniors. You lost so many from last couple of years. That could be an X factor, too, as you try to go into the postseason, have a chance to go knock somebody off that's a big boy, or I guess you could say big girls out there, one of the top teams, if you will.
Yeah. We've got 2 solid fullbacks. We have Claire Scully and then Kendra Mahan. So they both are absolutely fantastic. Morgan Fitner's one of our freshman backs as well. So
they get extra excited when they come out here to compete on this surface? I know you obviously have home games they look forward to, but when they get out there and they see some of the bigger name teams that you just played in the Ring of Honor, what did that do for them as far as confidence building?
It shows the level that they can play at, and they know that they can play at a high level. It's just executing from that point, yes.
And lastly, what would you want the audience out to know about your program here and the keys for you to try to go make some noise here in the playoffs coming up?
We have a very good squad. It's just they just have to apply themselves like they usually do all season. So,
good future ahead for Coach Amber Jones and the Kempsville Chiefs. Thanks so much for the time, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So that was Kempsville coach Amber Jones after her team's tough loss against Cox, but she gave us some minutes there. 8-4 in the season. Got a big one today through the Chiefs against First Colonial, as they really only lost to some of the better teams in the district. When you look at Cox, who's certainly among the very, very best. You look at, obviously, Princess Anne, Kellum. So they're in that Region 5A picture where you also have a defending state champ from the Class 4 level in Great Bridge, who's been struggling lately. Got a couple of L's they took to Princess Anne on Friday, and the one we mentioned recently to Kellum. So that sitting around 4, 5, 6 will be very I'm curious to see how that shakes out there. In Region 5B, I think Menchfield has now moved to the top of the line there as far as team to beat. Morey's probably second there in that picture. And then when you look at Class 6, Region A, you've got some Richmond schools sprinkled in, obviously, from the 804. But as far as the 757 contingency goes, only one Beach District school in Lansdowne. I think you look at the two Chesapeake schools, Western Branch and Grassfield, who both have some potential, but have been a little bit up and down. So looking for some consistency. The Grizzlies got a nice win over Ocean Lakes, as you see on the ticker there. A lone goal coming from E.G. Hatcher, and then they got the shutout from their goalkeeper, did a nice job there, and Callie Hyman. So we'll see how that all works itself out. And in Class 4, I think Gloucester is still very much the favorite, although they got tripped up here recently. So we'll see how the Dukes respond, but they look like a team to beat. And there's a team in Class 3 that continues to dominate. I don't think they're getting enough attention. I've been talking about it a while. We're still efforting getting Wendy Wilson on the show here soon, but those Tigers led by Minka Hilberger, who is just putting up numbers week after week. We'll take a timeout, and then we'll have our conversation with Purdy and Adams from Norfolk Academy, as well as the presentation, the latest award winner for the Il Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week. It's coming your way here with Field Hockey with Hatfield. But right now, at this time, we're going to step aside and hear from some of those sponsors and folks that make it possible for us to bring this to you each and every week, beginning with One Life Fitness. We'll be back.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
There we are, back on the screen. But we had a little technical snafu or difficulty. It is Field Hockey with Hatfield. As always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, beachsportsplex.com, Virginia Beach Sportsplex on YouTube, where you can comment to us, tell us what you like, what you don't care for too much. We'll always take your suggestions, your comments, your info. We greatly appreciate it. We've got the Field Hockey Top 10 coming up. It's probably our final one for the season, because the playoffs will be starting next week. We might do one more. We're debating it. We'll see. But we'll talk a lot more about the playoff matchups and the possibilities as we get closer to that here coming up here in the next several days. But as we mentioned, we caught up with the two standouts from Norfolk Academy, got themselves a win in that rematch from last year's Virginia Independent Schools Athletic Association Division I state final, where they came up on the short side of things. Not on the short side of things at all, as they were just absolutely dominant in the 7-1 victory over the Collegiate School from Richmond. Good crowd for this one, much like the game they had earlier in the season with the Cox Falcons. We're talking about the Columbia commit Lizzie Adams, a recent Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week, and Joji Purdy, the reigning winner of that honor, the junior who's headed to Penn State. Here's what they told us after the big win right now with Field Hockey with Hatfield.
All right, I'm here with a couple of the Norfolk Academy standout players for the number one team in the country. We've got Joji Purdy as well as Lizzie Adams. These two are our last two Field Hockey Player of the Week recipients, and they beat Collegiate today 7-1 in a rematch of last year's VISAA State Championship. Joji, let me start with you. I know in hearing from some things about this matchup coming in, a lot of anticipation, but I know Coach had commented, Coach Werkheiser, about not being overconfident. Last year you were confident coming into that game. They beat you all. Give me kind of what the difference is about this matchup this time around here. I know you might see them again come playoff time.
Well, I think that we were just all really excited to get back out here and play them again after we lost last year. So I think that it was more of a game where just like everyone really wanted the win. It was a whole team effort, and energy was high when we came in, and we just pulled through. So.
Tell me about that combination you and Lizzie had. Lizzie, you can comment as well. I think it was early in the third quarter. Y'all just had a late, or it might have been late in the second quarter, had a nice little breakaway, and it just seemed like it was practice for you all, basic, fundamental hockey, and it was just a beautiful highlight play.
Yeah, I mean, me and Lizzie have been playing together for a while, so we just kind of know where each other are on the field, so it was just a good combo. But.
Sure. You're used to doing that all the time with her, right? Pretty much, it's just second nature, isn't it? At this point?
Yeah, I mean, we've been playing together since we were like around 8 years old, probably earlier. So I mean, the connections have been there for a while.
How about this matchup? It's a team that's really good, also ranked in the country, much like your squad, undefeated coming in. You all seem like you were up for the challenge. How much did the earlier battles playing, out of the state earlier this year in a big tournament, the Max Field Hockey event, playing Cox here just a few weeks ago, how much did that kind of get you ready for this matchup today?
Yeah, we always have a really strong schedule in the beginning of the year, so we work really hard all season, prepare well. But the earlier games, especially against top teams, really tough teams similar to these guys, have really, made us feel prepared coming to this game. Obviously, like you said earlier, not overconfident, but we knew we could work together and do what we usually do.
Now, you're committed to Columbia, correct?
Yes.
And you're committed to Penn State?
Yes.
Now, I like doing this when I get athletes together, whether it be field hockey or basketball, baseball, football, soccer. Tell me what you like most about Joji's game, and I want you to tell me what you like most about Lizzie's game.
I think Joji's really good at getting open. When she has the ball on her stick, I know I'm always confident that she's going to put it in the back of the goal. So I like that Joji's always cutting, getting open, communicating well with her teammates, and she is a super strong finisher.
Sure. Now, you're both competing for hat tricks all the time, goals, and you play well together with one another, but what do you like most about Lizzie's game?
I can always count on Lizzie being there, send a ball. Lizzie's always running towards it. She gets there. She's like the fastest person I think I've ever played with. And I'm always confident that Lizzie's always going to be there to get the ball in the back of the net too, and if we don't finish first. So
I think it's 9 starters on this team are committed to play at the collegiate level. You also got Brooke Betancourt, who's headed to Wake Forest. How much do you all in practice? Or is that almost like the games are second nature because you go so hard in practice to get ready for the games?
Yeah, I think that since we all have been playing together and we all wanted to play at such like a high intensity, we've just been pushing each other and helping like everyone get to these goals, playing at the collegiate level and everything. So practices are always like pretty intense and a high energy with us. So it's just good that we have such a good group of high intensity players.
Good deal. Tell me about Coach Werkheiser, what it's like playing for her. She's a legend, and I know this was a big day for Norfolk Academy, 50th year of field hockey being celebrated. I know it's more than 50 years, but it's a pretty cool deal today.
Yeah, it's incredible. She's the greatest of all time. She also coached my mom, so that's...
So wait, she's the GOAT, not LeBron James?
No.
Okay,
it's not
I like
LeBron.
that. I got you. Good deal. Okay, you've solved it.
Yeah,
Not
I'll
Jordan
sign my
LeBron.
name to that.
There you go. You're from Lizzie Adams. It's Mary Werkheiser. Go ahead.
Yeah, she coached my mom too, so it's been really cool. And she coached me in PE when I was in lower school, so I've known her for so long. She prepares us so well. She knows the game so well. Whatever she says, everyone listens. We all try to implement what she's saying. She prepares us well and knows, how to attack each week, each practice, each game.
And seeing all these fans and alumni out here, and when you have these matchups like Cox and Collegiate, and I know there's more coming for the playoffs, it's got to get you all even more energized and excited, does it not?
Yeah, of course it does. It's nice to have alums here. It's homecoming, fun game. But it's good to see all the people who were a part of the program and hopefully get to go say hi to them after this.
Good deal. A couple more for you, let you run. I'll have a funny one at the end with Halloween coming up here. Being number one in the country, Joji, what's that mean? Is there an added pressure to that, or do you all just got to embrace that, being, kind of the hunted from everybody that plays you all?
I think we kind of embrace it. We worked super hard to get here. I think my first year here, we weren't in like the 50s in the rankings. We just worked really hard to get here. And I think that being number one is something that's really exciting for us. And we're excited for all the good competitions coming up. We want people to come play us and make us better. So
pretty modest. Only in the 50s they were. A couple more for you. Lizzie, you committed to Columbia. What was it about Columbia that appealed to you?
The team culture, definitely the schedule being kind of based around playing national competitors. I really like that my campus tour, the coaches, the school, just a lot of things academically, athletically. It all kind of, fit together well and seemed to fit well with what I was looking for in a college experience.
Good deal. Now, I know you got another year. She's going to Columbia. Brooke's going to Wake Forest. A bunch of other commits on this team. You're going to Penn State already. That you've made your commitment. Tell me what was about Penn State that appealed to you with a lot of other schools looking at you as well.
Well, I really love the coaching staff on Penn State. The head coach reminded me a lot of Worky, and I've been with Worky for years, so that was pretty appealing. And team culture was great. Campus was beautiful, and I just loved everything about my visit there. So
awesome. All right, here's the last one. Halloween. What's the go-to trick-or-treat candy for you? What's your go-to candy?
Reese's is my favorite.
All right, she's Reese's. What about your pick?
She took mine, Reese's as
Oh,
well.
wow. We got two Reese's picks for two players from the best team in the country right now in field hockey, Norfolk Academy, Lizzie Adams and Joji Purdy. They're chasing a state championship this year. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good work. Good job. Yeah, appreciate it.
So that's the dynamic duo for Norfolk Academy. They have more than just two good players, but two of the very best in the entire area, state of Virginia, and the country. Lizzie Adams, who was a senior, headed to Columbia, as well as the junior Joji Purdy, the Penn State-bound talent. They were the last two winners of the Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week. We've got one coming up. It's not a Norfolk Academy player this week. I mean, we could give it to them almost every week, the way they are just dominating, and you have to understand when they are as good as they are, it made a lot of sense. They were going to get a couple of these winners. Purdy could have got it just about any week the first 3-4 weeks that we gave this award out. But we'll tell you who that is in just a second before we go to break and then do our top 10 and finish things up on this edition of the show. But my goodness, there's just so much to like about that group. And by the way, Lizzie Adams, nice job by her. She solved the mystery of who the GOAT is. I know some people said it's LeBron James, is it Michael Jordan? It's Mary Werkheiser. Not LBJ. It's not LeBron. It's not MJ. They got the GOAT over there, and it is the one and only Mary Werkheiser, the head coach. Coached her mom, the GOAT there. And they're going with Reese's. We had that discussion on our broadcast about candy. And you can drop your comment. What's the best Halloween candy to give out? Do you give the full bars out like you do at my house? That's what we do. That's why all the kids come here. They don't egg us. We give out the full bars, not little miniature ones. I was a Musketeers type of kid when I was younger. But anyhow, it is now time to reveal the Il Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week. And Il Giardino offers veal, seafood, chicken, pasta, vegetarian, and pizza creations that are all taste sensations, adding the lively sounds from the expanded piano bar and lounge. And it's no wonder why Il Giardino is such a popular local spot. All the sauces are made from scratch, and every item is made to order. And this week, it goes to none other than Parker Rowell, First Colonial's goalkeeper, who got it done. It took 3 OTs. She gave up no goals to Cox. I've never seen Cox not score in a game. I mean, that's a double negative. Never seen not. That's bad English by me. But I've never seen anybody shut them out for an entire game, plus overtime sessions, and she did that. No goals allowed. 10th shutout this year. FZ is dominant right now. What is it, like 11, 12 wins in a row? I've lost count here. They are on a hot streak, and Parker Rowell, well-deserved, the Il Giardino Chicken Parm Player of the Week, and she's going to Georgetown. And that was our submission from a viewer out there, loyal listener. I unfortunately don't have the name that sent that in, but we appreciate that person for sending it in here. I'll find it here probably when we go to break when I'm looking for it. But again, to see the complete menu and find out more about Il Giardino, including the hours of operation, go to online the website at Il Giardino. That's ILGIARDINO.com. Give them a call at 757-422-6464 at 757-422-6464. 64. So great job there for her. We'll take another timeout and come back with the finishing touches right here with Hatfield Field Hockey with Hatfield. Let's hear now, though, from CHKD Sports